Well, welcome everyone. We're going to let the room fill up a little bit here. Thanks for joining. We're going to let the room fill up a little bit. We've got some attendees coming in. Thanks for joining. Got the room filling up with folks, so we'll just give it a minute or two. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. Welcome to our Tech Data CyberTalk series. This is a monthly series we have. We've got a great and exciting vendor, RangeForce, with us today. So my name is Chris DeRozier. I'm the Director of Security Solutions Business Development. With me today, I have Jackson Thibodeau and Tanner Howell. They're both from RangeForce. And we've got a great lineup for you today on RangeForce, expanding recurring security revenue with cyber readiness. So you see my my icon, my photos there. We've got Jackson and Tanner. And so the agenda will be, we wanted to at least kind of describe the solution a bit, talk about the market for cyber skills, trainings, ranges, and then the individual aspects of tailoring this type of training for individuals as well as teams. If you think about SOC analysts, we'll go through some use cases and the RangeForce value, and then how you as a channel partner can monetize a revenue stream for yourself. And then at the end, we'll take some questions. So feel free to just ask any question you like, but there's one caveat. We would ask you to pop that into the Q&A box. So try to avoid the chat box, but actually put it into the Q&A box. We'll save those for the end, and we'll take all those questions at the very end. So thanks for joining us. Hopefully this is going to be an interesting conversation for you. And we'll turn it over to you, Jackson, to pick it up from here.
Awesome. Thanks, Chris. And, want to thank the entire Tech Data team as well for hosting this webinar for us today. Tanner and I are excited to really, showcase the RangeForce value prop here and have a good conversation. So, as Chris mentioned today, we're going to discuss the RangeForce approach to cybersecurity skills training and how we're actually helping individuals and teams close the cyber skills gap. In addition to that, we're also going to touch on how RangeForce training can be complementary to the security solutions that your customers are already using, that you are already selling today. And also how partnering with RangeForce can expand those existing security revenue streams. So, what I want to start off with is just touching a bit on the cyber skills gap. And you can see, some of the metrics here on this slide, but with an influx of recent, ransomware attacks and everything we see in the news, which seems to be a weekly, if not daily occurrence now, there's an estimated 500,000 unfilled cybersecurity roles in the US alone, which obviously poses a huge security risk. And you might be thinking, okay, well, how does RangeForce and cybersecurity skills training play into that? But for us, it's the need for training and screening cyber talent and professionals is more apparent than ever. And here at RangeForce, we're laser focused on enabling organizations and individuals of all sizes and skill levels to really be trained up on all aspects of cyber readiness. And I just want to reiterate, before we dive into the whole presentation here, that please use the Q&A box for any questions you have, and we will have time at the end to cover all of your questions. So when you think about cybersecurity training, there's a lot of traditional methods, classroom methods that have been used in the past, and there are more on-demand and skills-focused online methods that are popping up now. And while those in-person instructor-led methods of training are valuable, they are a bit outdated and they're not really suited to the remote workforce or the environment, the post-COVID world that we're actually in today. So while the instructor-led approach to cybersecurity training and certifications and all that, it does have its benefits, but here at RangeForce, we really believe that it doesn't, it's not a match to the self-paced and the hands-on approach that we're taking, where learners can always have access to labs and challenges at their fingertips. Additionally, traditional security training measures and also on-premise cyber ranges that organizations might be spinning up, they're very labor intensive and expensive for organizations to maintain. And most companies, simply they just don't have the resources or the money to back those up. And our partners here at Tech Data, they have a very impressive on-premise cyber range. We're very pleased to be partnering with them on the cloud side of that. But today we'll talk about the RangeForce approach to cyber training and our cloud-based cyber range as well. So really where we come in here at RangeForce is we enable learners of all different skill levels to participate in unique and meaningful training to them, to their organization, and to their team. So our on-demand skills platform, and like I mentioned, our cloud-based range, it offers individuals to learn at their own pace based on their skill level and even the role that they have in their organization. But we take it a step beyond just the individual, and we take that learning and translate it to the team approach as well, because we want individuals to be able to hone their skills for either the current role that they're in, or potentially a role that they want to get to, or a step in their career. And then we want to take that to the teams to practice in real world simulations in a real world environment and make that environment competitive and gamified as well. So one of the analogies I like to use about RangeForce and about cyber skills training is the flight simulator. And when you're getting on a plane, as we're all starting to travel again, you hope that your pilot that's flying that commercial airline hasn't just taken some courses and read some textbooks on how to fly a plane. You want to make sure they've gone through a flight simulator and they know what to do in the worst case scenario or in the event of something that comes up. And we take that same approach with SOC professionals and with cyber and IT professionals worldwide, that it's really all about readiness and it's about honing your skills. And that's something that's it's cyclical. It's a very continuous cycle of refining those skills. Because as we all know, in this industry and in the security space, the threat landscape is ever changing and growing. And we read about it in the news every single day. And new security tools in combination with those threats are constantly appearing. So it's very important for individuals and organizations to be trained up on the latest and greatest threats, and also just to continuously hone their skills. So many times you'll hear that a team is only as strong as their weakest link. And I think there's truth to that with SOC teams and cybersecurity professionals and teams worldwide as well. So here at RangeForce, we understand that learners come from many different backgrounds and they possess varying skill levels. It could be someone right out of college, very entry level, that needs help with the basics, whether it's cybersecurity essentials like the acronyms that we're all used to hearing on a daily basis. But we also understand that there could be individual learners that are very, intermediate or more advanced and are using cybersecurity tools on a daily basis. So that's where our training program focuses on the individual learner and their needs and what their skills are, and also the team. And users can start their training where it makes sense for them and even hone in on the topics that are pertinent, like I said, to their day-to-day roles and jobs, or possibly a role or a career move that they want to make. So maybe they're a SOC analyst or a sysadmin and they want to become a penetration tester, get more involved with cloud security and development. We create these custom learning paths for the individual user to help them set goals for themselves and hold themselves accountable, but also get to different milestones they want to achieve for their own personal and professional development. And like I said too, our learning paths, they span from the fundamentals of learning cybersecurity essentials, very basics of the history of cyber and acronyms that you'll learn, to much more advanced topics like hands-on labs that are using real security tools in a real virtual environment. Individual training is great, and that's where everything starts. We all have to train ourselves and train as an individual, but it really all comes together with our team-based exercises and assessments here at RangeForce. And we can improve the overall team's operational readiness by combining their individual role-based learning that they walk through. It's all self-paced, it's all accessed via a web browser. So we combine that individual role-based learning and the challenges that they took and held themselves accountable for with these group exercises, these cloud-based cyber range exercises that we'll discuss. And in our cloud-based range, we, similar to an on-premise cyber range, we're using real world, the latest and greatest security tools and real world threats so that these teams can come together and practice and train safely in an isolated environment, really just accessing it via a web browser. In a few minutes here, I'm going to toss it over to my colleague Tanner, who's our Director of Sales Engineering, and he's going to walk you through the platform a bit, show you what one of our training modules looks like for that individual user training platform. But before we do that, I actually want to point out just some of the awesome features of our platform. And one of the most impressive things to me, and I remember when I first started here at RangeForce, I honestly didn't believe that we were able to do it, but I've seen it ever since I've been here for about a year, is our team releases 10 to 15 new training modules per week. And like I said in the previous slide, that could span a variety of topics, of something very fundamental to something very skills-based and hands-on and a virtual lab or challenge where it's putting the skills of the user to test. And that weekly influx of new training modules, that as of right now, we're close to about 700 modules, where when I first started here, had about 300. So we're always staying on top of things, the latest and greatest threats and security technologies. We want to make sure that users have the ability to train on those and understand those. Additionally, the platform is very interactive, as you'll see when Tanner shows from our admin or manager view, which could be very beneficial for managed service providers out there that are wanting to manage cyber training or some aspects of cyber training for their clients, to the actual individual learner view, where we allow managers, admins, and learners to track progress of themselves and their teams, to set individual and team training goals, and then create training plans to ultimately measure the results of where they are in that cybersecurity readiness lifecycle. So now to the good stuff and why we're all here today, of what we really want to discuss, and that's what's in it for you, what's in it for your business, and also what's in it for your customers. And we take this very seriously at RangeForce, where the word customization is thrown out there a lot by many different companies, and we like to customize our approach to each end user and to each organization. We understand that, like I said, with the individual learner, everyone has a different varying degree of expertise and training needs, but that also goes to the team and the organization overall. You could be working with a very small shop that's a one person IT and security guru, to a large enterprise that has a 20 to 50 person SOC team that's managing threats on a minute by minute basis. So from the end user perspective, there are really what we see as kind of endless use cases for the RangeForce platform, which correlates into endless use cases for you to expand your overall security revenue from the security services and products that you're already selling. And overall, what we're really trying to do for the end user is either let them build that team or individual cyber training program, and also build a security conscious culture across multiple teams and organizations. And we have our goal here, what we are really focused on at RangeForce, is training the SOC, and it is training those security professionals. But like I said, we do have fundamental and cybersecurity essential and awareness type training that can really bring it all together for the organization, whether it's an AppSec team or development, or the security and IT teams, to be on the same page and understand where they are with cybersecurity training, what their goals are, and where they need to get to. Those organizations that we're selling into can also use RangeForce to screen talent. We have some HR assessments available where human resources teams or hiring managers can actually assess the skills of candidates. So rather than just going off of a resume or going off of a reference from someone, you can test the user and their skills in action in real time and see test results, challenge results, and reportable real time action on them. And what that correlates into for that organization is it helps them not just screen the best security talent that's out there, but it also reduces the cost for training and the hiring costs for the organization, because it does take a long time to get someone up to speed for training. And what we're seeing now more than ever is companies that really want to invest in their employees, whether that's training or in other methods that they're going to do that. Investing in your employees in that way can help with employee retention. So now for the good part and how this is pertinent to your business model. And just like the end user approach, we understand that there are varying degrees of needs and understanding for cyber skills training for your businesses as well. But what we're focused on is helping you open up new revenue streams for that. So whether you want to resell RangeForce or manage it on behalf of your clients or customers, there's multiple paths for upgrades to expand on those revenue streams. And one of the best parts about this whole thing for me is that RangeForce training can be easily attached to any security solution sales that you're already making. Maybe it's a firewall or an endpoint, or something that you could have sold this morning. There's a high likelihood that RangeForce has a training about that, that existing security solution, whether it's vendor specific or about firewalls or that type of security in general, that you can attach our training, whether it's individual or team-based or both, which is what we like to see, to those security solutions, which is going to really snowball effect those security revenue streams for you and your teams. And that leads me to, I want to mention, and Tanner will walk through one of our integrations when he pulls up the demo here in a minute, but I want to mention our extensive set of integrations that we have. And when I say integrations, I mean trainings and the ability to use real tools in our virtual labs, real security tools in real time against real threats. And that does create an ideal customer profile, for your business to be able to understand and help those customers to get the most out of the tools that they're already paying for and that they're already using. And maybe you're even managing the security for an organization, for your clients. There's still a baseline level of security awareness and security skills training that the IT or SOC teams at those organizations probably should have. And this way you're able to manage that on behalf and assign specific training plans or learning paths to those organizations. But at the end of the day, it really comes down to what is best for you and what's best for your customer. And after you've identified your customer's training needs, they can manage, you can manage and implement RangeForce on their behalf and assign trainings, like I said, to them, or they can do it on their own from more of a resale approach. But ultimately, it comes down to where that organization, where those individual learners, where their skill sets are and where they want to get to. And what's nice about our business model and how we structure things is it correlates very easily to the channel, where it gives you the ability to prescribe certain trainings or recommend certain trainings to your customer base, which creates easy upsell paths of, okay, you've tackled the learning path, the RangeForce of SOC 1 and SOC 2 analysts, or maybe cloud security or penetration testing, but let's get you to the next level. And let's get the team all involved in this once you've passed some prerequisites, so that we can really see that training in action and see how everything's come together. So onto some pricing that you'd be able to get via Tech Data. We price things in a couple different ways here at RangeForce, and the platform, which Tanner is going to walk you through, that individual and team-based learning platform, that is an annual subscription. So that's annual recurring revenue for you year over year, and it's priced per user per year. So you can see the breakdown here of those user counts of what it costs per seat. But this is just to give you a baseline understanding of what that could equate to. But like I shared at the beginning of the presentation, I don't like to look at cybersecurity training as a timeline. It's more of a continuous cycle. And that's the RangeForce approach to this, where it's not just about training the individual and then doing a team-based exercise in our cyber range and calling it a day. It's about continuously improving on the user skills and understanding where the skills gaps are, and recommending and taking different trainings that are going to help the team be continuously ready for, you know, the next threat or the next attack that's coming their way. And our Battle Fortress, that's our, you know, our product name for our cloud-based cyber range. You can see some of the pricing here of what our exercise is and the breakdown of that. But ultimately, we like this to be a package, and rather than calling it a platform, it's really a program for your clients and your customers to be able to take their cybersecurity training goals and needs as an individual and as a team and bring everything together. So this is my last slide before I hand it over to Tanner for a brief demo, but I did want to touch on our target market. And really, like I said, what RangeForce is focused on is any organization or end user that has a SOC team, that has a security team, or, you know, potentially a managed service security provider with an internal security team, or teams that are managing security on behalf of their customers. But we realize there's no perfect mold, there's no perfect fit, and there's many different teams that have security responsibilities within every unique organization. But it's our training is very skills focused. It's focused on security. It's focused on the SOC. It's, although we do have those fundamental courses and those awareness training courses, what our bread and butter is getting those cyber professionals to the next step and making sure that they're continuously trained. So with that in mind, you know, target titles or the types of folks you would want to talk to would definitely be CISOs, they'd be VPs or directors of cybersecurity programs. But probably the most important piece and the most important person to talk to would be a SOC director or a SOC manager that's really in the weeds with their team on a day-to-day basis, that understands exactly what the threats are, understands exactly the topography of their network and what tools that they have. Those are the people that we want to get in front of and be able to showcase the values of implementing a individual and team-based training program like RangeForce. So without further ado, Tanner, I'm going to toss it over to you for a brief look inside the platform.
Awesome. Thank you, Jackson. Let me share my screen. You guys see that okay?
Yep.
Awesome. So what I'm going to show you guys today, I'm going to give you a quick overview into that administrative dashboard that Jackson was talking about, where you can assign training out to different groups. And then I will transition to show you guys what the learner view looks like, and then we'll wrap with one of our hands-on modules. So with that, as an admin, this is what you see when you log into our platform. You can kind of get an overview of where your team's at from an assessment result. I'll show you that more in a second. Where you're at from an overall module count, where the team is spending their time from a completion standpoint. Are they doing a lot of easy or hard modules? From a licensing standpoint, how many learners are in there? And then the most interesting part, in my opinion, about this dashboard is the leaderboard. Now, learners also have visibility into this leaderboard. From their point of view, though, it is opt-in. From an administrator, it is, you know, you have full purview into everything. You can see who's doing the most content, but then most interestingly as well, you can have visibility into the passive dashboard. So who's not doing content? You know, I can look at this and, you know, give Hamilton a little nudge saying, hey, you know, I had noticed you haven't done a module in a month. You know, this training's been paid for, hint, hint, nudge, nudge. It is important. Moving on, we do allow in our administrative view the breaking of, you know, a group of individuals into subgroups. So if you're thinking from a large organization, having their security operations team, their app dev team, and a security management team in different silos. And then from that, if I pick on Greg here, you're able to actually view their assessment results and dive into to understand where proficiencies or gaps are. And one of the features that we do offer from our customer success function is the ability to make individualized training plans for our customers based off these assessment results. So picking on Greg here is on my team, looks like his Active Directory is right on track, but we do have some opportunities for growth here And that's where our customer success team would come in and make those individualized recommendations that could then be built into a training plan. And really what training plans are a self-service way to build out, bespoke training for either individuals or entire groups. What's really cool about these is that, you're able to time box them. So the learners are getting, reminders of, hey, this month is malware analysis month. By the end of August, there's an expectation that you have this training done. Leaders are able to pull in metrics from this to see, who's doing the training, who's not doing the training. And that would be on our reporting page, who's taking hints, are they taking solution reveals, how many times are they doing the modules over and over again? All that data is visible to them via this reporting tab right here. And that data is available via JSON or a CSV export. We're also in the process of building out dashboards directly in the screen. That's something that we're targeting for the second half of this year. Moving on to the learner view, this is what a learner sees when they log into the platform. So again, there's that same leaderboard that I mentioned earlier. In this case, though, I can show you guys in a second. It is anonymized or opt-in rather. My team likes to have a little fun with it. We have Captain Firewall and kernel injection, but generally everybody shows up as learner. And the idea behind that is we want this gamification, but we don't want it to be a personal competition. I can set goals for myself right here, and I can see where I'm at from an overall completion standpoint for my license, and I can dive back into courses I was doing. Again, the assessments to leaderboards, it's the same view from the admin view, except I only have visibility into myself from the assessment standpoint. I'm able to view training that has been assigned to me. You can see here that the focus of this month, if you will, for my team has been malware analysis. So we've been working through this training. You can see here that I only have 10 days left in the month. I need to pick up the pace. I'm only a quarter of the way through. And the idea is that we're giving that gamification, that instant gratification of, hey, you're only 26% done with your training. You should get on that. There is a due date on this. Now, like Jackson said, we do have a very wide breadth of content. The SOC is our primary focus, but we do like to say that we have everything. We like to say that we're the zero entry pool for cybersecurity, right? We introduced the MITRE attack framework. We introduced the concept of what is a script kiddie versus a nation state threat actor. We introduced the OSI 7-layer model. We introduced Linux fundamentals, understanding fundamental Linux commands, with the expectation that as someone grows in their cybersecurity career, they're going to be needing to learn Linux. And how do we teach that in a way that is compelling and gamified and hands-on? Like Jackson said, we do have a collection of what we call battle paths. And what these are groupings of modules that we pull from the module lake, if you will, of almost 700 modules. We map them to cybersecurity frameworks. The NIST framework for our cybersecurity ones, and then for our app dev ones, we do map them to the OWASP top 10. And what's really cool is that we also incentivize for our learners the completion of these, right? These battle paths tell a story. For our SOC Analyst 1, which gives you the breadth of knowledge to really understand what goes into a SOC Analyst 1 type role, and being competent in that type of role, these modules build off each other of understanding the threat landscape. What is security operations? Introducing the SIM, understanding what malware really is. And then upon completion of a capstone module, which is a challenge module that does take about an hour to an hour and a half, our learners then get a Credly badge that they can then share out on LinkedIn. We've had a lot of really good feedback from folks being able to get those badges from completing these modules to show off in their LinkedIn environment. I'm not gonna drain the content catalog, otherwise we would be here all night just because we have so many modules. But I do want to highlight, like Jackson said, we have stuff for threat hunters, we have stuff for app developers. Not just teaching them, hey, here's how you write code, but here's how bad guys abuse code that they find in the environment. When they find a web application, here are the commands they're going to run, and most importantly, here's how you protect your enterprise. We take the approach of cybersecurity is everybody's business, and every single topic we teach, we also teach how threat actors will abuse it and how to protect against it. And the last thing I want to touch on is our cloud security content. and our Internet of Things content. Those have been big asks from customers of ours. We like to say that the #1 way that we come up with new ideas for modules is customer requests or prospect requests. And both of those are direct results of customers asking. Now, moving on to the exciting part, which is the hands-on module. So there's a few things I want to highlight here real quick. So one, this is a real RangeForce module. Our Linux modules, every single RangeForce module is spun up on demand at the user's request. You click start, it spins up a network, a containerized environment, if you will. Our Linux modules are within 60 seconds. Our Windows modules, because Windows is admittedly a little larger of an operating system, they can take about 3 to 5 minutes. But it drops me directly in, as you can see here, a Linux VM. And a few things I do want to highlight here. So one, this guy right here, this is our virtualized teaching assistant. Every RangeForce module has this teaching assistant. It's my teacher. It has built-in hint functionality, which I'll show you all in a second. It is a way for me to provide feedback directly to the RangeForce team via this feedback tab right here. And then finally, it also is a vessel for me to understand the environment I'm in. So in this scenario, this is one of our FortiGate modules. And I'll talk on FortiGate in a second, but this is a real environment I'm in. Here's the machine I'm on. I'm going to a firewall. There's a router, a DMZ, and a server for me. And the idea is that in this module, we're kind of introducing the concept of firewall policies. So, in true cooking show fashion, I did have this one in the oven already. I've completed the first 2 steps. But let's say I get to this 3rd step in this module and I just hit a roadblock. I'm not sure where to go from here. That's okay, right? We built hints into this platform. So let's say I take the first hint and it's not clicking for me. I can ask for a second hint and a third hint. And let's say I exhaust all my hints and I'm still not sure what to do. Again, that's okay. This is a learning exercise. We do have challenge modules that do not have as much instruction, that are meant to be a miniature capstone, if you will. But for a learning exercise, we never want someone to be completely stuck, right? So we do allow the solution to be revealed. And what I will mention is that my leader will have visibility into the fact that I've taken these hints, that I've taken the solution reveal. So without further ado, I'm on the last part. I have port 4. I need to set the alias to DMZ and the role to DMZ. Let me click on it, click edit. Let me type out DMZ. And the role will be DMZ. And I'm going to click save. And what you'll see is the virtual teaching assistant will see that I've completed all of the tasks laid out for me. I'm going to get an instantaneous screen check mark letting me know, yes, I've done the right action. I'm on the right path. And this progress bar will fill at the bottom. And that is one of the key things that differentiates us when you look at other on-demand training providers, is the accountability and the interactivity of our virtualized training assistant. So with that, Chris, I will turn it back over to you and stop sharing my screen.
Okay. All right. So yeah, great demo, Tanner, and wonderful explanation, Jackson. Thank you guys so much for kind of reviewing this powerful platform that partners can monetize and take to market for themselves and for their customers as well. So all of this technology in the RangeForce platform is within the context of the greater tech data value prop. I wanted to just spend a few minutes kind of moving through that. So if you could just move ahead one slide, please. I wanted to make it known to you that Tech Data, as a distributor and a solution aggregator, not only offers RangeForce, but offers a lot of other solutions. I run a business development team here at Tech Data for cybersecurity, and I wanted you guys to know that you have access to quite a few people here that can help you not only to facilitate consumption of RangeForce and taking that to market, but also a lot of other capabilities as well, such as maturity assessments, complementary maturity assessments that we can do to start that conversation with your clients on your behalf. So we're happy to help you with that. We've got a lot of capability around that. We're generally vendor agnostic and vendor neutral. With the exception of today, RangeForce is one of our more important vendors in our catalog. And then we have a few different solutions there at the bottom, such as our spy tool, our digital security practice builder program, which I'll discuss in a second, as well as our cyber range. So if you could move on to the next slide, let's explore each one of these last components here. So if you're in the cybersecurity business today and you wanted to optimize, look for areas of improvement, this might be a platform and a program you could consider. We have built the Digital Security Practice Builder program, which is basically like a learning management system itself. It's a course, and it helps you to build a security business. So whether you're just starting out, you're already advanced, or you're somewhere in the middle, we can help you to do that. So this is all backed by coaches and senior security consultants, more of a business conversation versus any one specific vendor. And if you're looking to build a monthly recurring revenue business, we've added a new module recently called the MSP course you see on the far right. So if you can, take a screenshot right now, bookmark, and visit that webpage. And all you'll need is your name, email, phone number, and a Tech Data account number to access it. And we've got a lot of support behind that. So if we could move on to the next slide. The next thing I wanted to show you is our solution product inventory tool. This is a free public website that allows you to navigate the entire Tech Data security portfolio by country. So you can find out whether you're in Mexico or Brazil or Europe, you could find out what Tech Data distributes in the country that you are from. So this is a great tool to help you look at vendors, any sort of products or services that Tech Data may offer, or even start out by just clicking on a category or subcategory and then clicking the report button in the lower right there. You'll see all the details about that specific vendor, how to get quotes, and how to engage with that vendor with us. So again, take a screenshot, recon.techdata.com/spy tool. Free, no account number required. If you could move on to the next slide. The last thing is our cyber range, and Jackson mentioned this. So we're partnered very heavily with RangeForce in today's new virtual world, but we're one of those companies that spent the money to build a cyber range. So if you're in the Arizona area, you have access to this. If you're not and you're anywhere else in the world, you have access to this. So it's a training facility. We can demonstrate technologies. We're here to provide engagement for our channel partners, to spend some time and demo technologies. Check it out at cyberrange.techdata.com. So we're in the home stretch here. If you could advance one more slide here. So if you want to get started on the RangeForce component, kind of understand, the pricing models, what's available in it. First of all, make sure that you're typing your questions in the Q&A box. We're about to move there in just a second and recap some of the questions that have been asked already. But if you wanted to get more information on this or explore it even further, you've got the email address, the phone number, and the extension of the RangeForce team. They're standing by. They're ready to help out. Again, take a screenshot if you get a chance. So I think we're going to move into the Q&A session. And so I'm going to turn it over to Emily. She's going to be our host on the Q&A session. So Emily, are you out there?
I am. Thanks, Chris. Had a few questions come in. One Jackson answered live, and that was, do you have any NFR licenses for resellers? And he let us know that RangeForce does offer NFR licenses for our partners. So just wanted to convey that to everyone.
Yep.
Another question that we saw come through was, how easy is it to get started with RangeForce?
So I'll turn that over to you, Jackson or Tanner.
Yep. Good stuff. Thanks, Chris, and thanks, Emily. That's a great question. And RangeForce, we're very easy to get started with. So what I mean by that is we don't require any, specific certifications or anything like that to get started as a partner with us, especially via our great partnership with Tech Data. So similar to what Chris said, call the 800 number you see, or email that RangeForceUS@techdata.com alias if you want to set up some time for more information on RangeForce, for how to obtain an NFR, or actually how to get started on pricing for you or your customers. And we are more than happy to help out there.
Okay, great. And does RangeForce offer any badges or certifications, Jackson?
Hey, Tanner, do you mind taking that
Yep.
question for me?
Yep, I can take that one. So for all of our pre-configured battle paths, which are curated modules grouped together to tell a user story, if you will, we do offer Credly badges that you can share on LinkedIn or put on your resume as a learner. And we also count as continuing education credits for any certification that a learner may already have.
Okay, great. And then what about certifications? Do you need certifications to be authorized to resell?
Yeah, I can handle that one. Thanks, Emily. Another good question. No certifications are required as of right now to be able to resell RangeForce. That's something we will be moving to in the short-term future here. But as of right now, no, you don't need a certification. We would love to be able to show you the platform in action, get you set up with an NFR license so you can actually see the value prop and the use cases of RangeForce before pitching this or talking to your customers about it. But no certifications are needed at the time.
Okay, and I just saw this one come through, which is, are there any Canadian partners in the program, or are there any special requirements for Canadian partners?
We do have Canadian partners, and no, there are not any special requirements for Canadian partners.
Okay, great. And then just to wrap things up here, if I have an interested prospect, is there a way for me to register a deal?
Yes, so a couple of ways to do that. You can either get in touch with the Tech Data team via the email alias for that number that's listed on the screen. They can register the deal on your behalf, or you can head to the RangeForce website. We do have a deal registration landing page where you'd be able to register that deal as well. But we definitely suggest that you would register the deal through the Tech Data team, so that for tracking purposes, and we always like to highlight this amazing partnership that we have with Tech Data. But deal registrations are always highly encouraged.
Okay, wonderful. I think that wraps up our Q&A.
Awesome. All right. Hey, I had a question, and Jackson and I were kind of texting in the background, but I think it's relevant and probably worth discussing here. So, when I started watching Tanner's demo, I saw all these modules, and, it's 10 modules a week, and oh my goodness, that's going to stack up pretty quick. And there's just so much content. And then I saw that pricing module. And if I'm a partner in the audience tuning in today, I'm thinking, well, how does that all work? Do I just pay one license and I get access to that massive amount of content? So that's really my question to you, Jackson, is how does that work when licenses are sold relative to content?
Yeah, and thanks for that question, Chris. And it's an all-you-can-eat model here at RangeForce. So when it comes to individual training and the platform that Tanner walked everyone through, when you buy access to that annual subscription, not only do you get access to the admin console that Tanner was walking through, but also the learner view, where you're actually able to go through and take the trainings. And like, to your question, all 700 and plus and counting modules that we are going to be offering are available to all users when they have a subscription of our Battle Skills platform.
Wow, that's amazing value. I mean, that's just incredible value. Wow. Okay, cool. Well, for those of you that are paying attention to the chat box, I know I said let's do it in the Q&A. I've gone ahead and posted the 2 links to Digital Security Practice Builder as well as the Spy tool. And if I can stall for just a second here, I'm also going to paste a new link, which is for, this is a link to a short video that goes through the Digital Security Practice Builder. So if you wanted to build a business and you wanted just a quick video on what that's all about, take a look at that link there that has vidyard.com in it. Go ahead and spin that off to the side. I think we have one more question here in our chat box. I'm reluctant to kind of wrap it up yet. And maybe we asked it, Emily, did we already ask that last question from Shania?
Yeah, I think one more came through, yep. And it's, are we able to service customers in the Caribbean?
Yes, as far as I'm concerned, we are definitely able to service customers. We do have a list of, do not sell territories, states, countries, but I don't believe that the Caribbean is one of those territories that we're not able to transact with. So the answer is yes.
Great. Awesome.
Great.
Got the Western Hemisphere covered, right? We got Canada, we got Latin America, and we've got the US. Awesome. All right. Well, we talked about a lot of different things today, and it's been super interesting for me. Lots of connections back to Tech Data. You've seen the platform, the environment. Tech Data can help you do a lot of different things. RangeForce is an amazing solution. Andrew, boy, you snuck one in there. I'm going to go ahead and take this one, Emily. Is there material for general end user security coverage? Something I can resell to customers for non-IT staff training. Something I resell to customers for non-IT staff training. So this is definitely a technical training, Andrew, but I'll leave that up to you, Jackson, on material for general end user security coverage. What are your thoughts around that?
Yep. Yeah, I can take that one, Chris, and good question, Andrew. So as Chris just reiterated, we're very focused on the security professionals and SOC team training, skills-based training, but we do offer a cybersecurity essentials learning path and also security awareness training videos in our platform, because we do understand the value in that holistic approach for an organization to have all facets of the organization on the same page when it comes to security. So while we don't focus on that, we do offer it. And our main focus is on the SOC and is on that skills-based hands-on training. But we can absolutely address that, and we do offer it.
Yeah, Andrew, you bring up a great question. For kind of general, you use the term general, right? So Andrew, I think Jackson nailed it. They've got it covered on both sides. But if you did have kind of general security, what's available from the Tech Data vendor ecosystem? One of the things we didn't publish is our generalist team mailbox. That's security services at techdata.com, security services at techdata.com. You could shoot an email into them, and we can help kind of guide it to other fundamental areas of security as well. But I'm glad to hear that Jackson and RangeForce also have that amazing security awareness baseline information. So I think that's it. And Emily, I'm going to give you the last word unless anybody has any other questions. Are we all clear?
I think we are all clear.
All right. Well, it's been a wonderful conversation. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Jackson and Tanner. Just the value is tremendous. I'm thinking about all these different ways our partners can monetize this, offer this, take it to market. It's really just about kind of following up with additional conversations to see how we can customize a plan for you guys. So you see the mailbox, you see the phone number, please reach out. With that, we'll wrap it up, and everybody have a great week. Thanks for joining our Tech Data Cyber Talk this week. We'll see you next month. Take care. Bye-bye.